Good morrow, lovelies.
So the last of the Stoic virtues is often cited as the first one, wisdom. So we talk about wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. But overall, I think wisdom is the absolute key one here. None of the other ones really matter if you haven't got the wisdom to apply them properly. So for example, courage might actually be misplaced bravado. So something that appears to take courage and bravery, like, I don't know, climbing those buildings, breaking in and climbing those buildings, kind of presents as something that takes courage and bravery, but actually bravado in these kind of instances is not a wise thing to do. It doesn't do anything necessarily if it's purely for kind of clicks and looks and likes and things like that. I understand psychologically there's the boundary pushing and then there's the kind of renegade element of it that comes into it, but really wisdom is the key behind all of these things, the decisions that get made. Or something like justice, for example, could end up just being virtue signaling or some kind of moral vanity where somebody starts a petition online and actually it's about them kind of getting their ego boosted for all this engagement. The actual thing that they're rallying against, the cancelling they might be taking place in, might be completely ill-judged. And we do see this kind of stuff all the time. Even down to temperance could actually be misplaced with the incorrect level of wisdom, could kind of turn out to be sort of just complete control freakishness. And even wisdom itself, without wisdom, can present really as being something that's just pure arrogance. So it frames everything. We need to approach our level of justice and our level of courage and our level of temperance and even our level of wisdom with a level of wisdom. There are so many decisions for myself, and I'm certain that it's absolutely the same for everybody on the planet, that at the time we considered to be wise choices, but in hindsight, just seem like absolutely ridiculous decisions that we've made. But we've become more wise, we've become more world aware, and we understand where we made those errors. But at the time, now here's the thing, at the time, we thought we were using our wisdom correctly. What's that quote about not beating yourself up for now having the knowledge that you didn't have before? You can't beat yourself up for these things, but ultimately we become wiser, or at least for the most part, as we get older and we get more experience of the world. Hopefully we become a bit more wise. I'm pretty sure I have. I hope I have. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have. Right? I'm sure I have. Do people become less wise as they get older? Is that ever a thing? Maybe. But anyway, my journey into kind of wisdom and the Stoic virtues and everything else really comes from the fact that I have a curiosity. Now, why do I have that curiosity? Well, I think it's founded in a fear of being kind of found out. I know when I started teaching at university, I was terrified that all the students would know more than me, etc., etc. So I'm kind of a bit scared of that kind of stuff. So as you know from my videos, I tend to research everything, but I have a curiosity. I have a genuine burning desire to understand the world because I kind of don't feel like I do enough. And I think that's the first step to kind of developing wisdom, is definitely having that curiosity. As Seneca himself kind of said, it's about asking why as much as you possibly can. My eyes are so dark in these videos. You must be wise. Something that I was thinking about recently is how important being open-minded is. I think the more you develop and you become experienced, I think a lot of people as they get older, they actually become more closed-minded. They're absolutely certain that they know everything. And I think that's a massive danger, especially as you get a bit older and you have that level of knowledge. It doesn't necessarily mean you're wise. So open-mindedness is important, I think. And I remember reading a quote fairly recently about the fact that you should have very, very strong opinions, but hold them lightly. This is how I feel. I feel like I have the curiosity and I seek answers and I formulate ideas, but I am colossally open-minded because I don't trust myself to have all the answers. That if I keep that curiosity open, actually, some of my opinions and ideas and thoughts about the world, well, honestly, they alter really quite drastically, but only when I'm absolutely convinced and that I've done my research properly and that I'm being told these things by trusted sources. But curiosity to learn more, but an open-mindedness to know that I don't know anything really when it comes down to it. Kind of Dunning-Kruger effect, right? I also think it's really important to challenge ourselves. Now, hear me out on this. For example, if you were anyone like me back in, I think, 2016, when the Leave vote came in the UK, I was surrounded by people that voted to stay in the EU, and I was one of them. And I ended up with a massive kind of shock when I woke up in the morning that the world was not as the echo chamber had created. Now, it doesn't matter what your beliefs or opinions are. You will have created an echo chamber around you that reflects all those things, and it becomes a massive shock when you learn that the world isn't like how you perceive it. So I think it's really important to read about different people's opinions and ask questions of people that think and feel completely differently to you. And that is massively challenging. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that is one of the key components of becoming wise and developing wisdom that an awful lot of people will steer clear of because it's uncomfortable and it's challenging. So in short, becoming wise is about seeing the world how it is, not how we want or think it is. There's a big difference. So yes, while all four of the virtues are definitely interconnected, wisdom is the overarching one as far as Stoics are concerned. None of them matter at all if you are not applying these things with a level of wisdom. And that is the thing that we seek pretty much for the rest of our lives. So there you are. Those are the four Stoic virtues. Wisdom overarching the top of them, courage, temperance, and justice. And it's my birthday tomorrow, so that's all the four Stoic virtues, and I will see you tomorrow on my 49th birthday.